Welcome back, everybody, to our Sequester podcast. We'll be talking about episode 7 of season 4. How did you enjoy the episode?
I thought it was the best episode of the season.
Really?
By far, yes.
Yeah, I think I would probably agree with that.
We had our day of reckoning with Muna and Jacob, and it was as messy as I hoped it'd be.
Well, before I forget, we'll start with our ups and downs. Who went up and down for you this week?
Well, in an alarming change of events, I have Spencer going up. Feels good to put him up for once. What about you? Oh,
No,
wait.
no. Well, before I just want to say that Billy's already so up for me that it's hard for me to put her up any higher. But I am also shockingly going to put Spencer up.
Oh, shit.
I know you've been wondering if I would change my ways, but for this week I will regarding Spencer.
Why is Spencer up for you?
Because he had a good week. He has a plan. He sees, I don't know, he's getting in tight with the people that are also getting in tight with him. So for once, he's playing a good social game that he lacked for the entire game till now.
He's doing exactly what I said he should do, which is shut the fuck up. I said it. I said it. Spencer, I knew you had it in you. I said if Spencer shuts the fuck up, he can redeem himself. And that is exactly what he's done. But you are right, though, about Billy. Billy is like that high achieving straight A student that, like, you can't give an award to every time.
Even though we want to, I want to.
Yeah, no one's ever going to get an award if we keep putting Billy up. So, like, I have to challenge myself to not put her up. But Billy, you know you're up, sis. Always.
And down for you.
Yeah, so down, as much as I am loving this new storyline with Muna, I do have her down for next week because we put these predictions in terms of how we think their game's going to go, right? Yeah, so as much as I love Muna's new storyline, I'm gonna have to put her down. Only because I don't see her game improving now with Jacob coming back. She's gonna have Natalie coming after her, with this imaginary charge that she's leading. She's gonna have Jacob coming after her, even though I saw that he tried to plant some seeds of reconciliation. I'm on to you, Jacob. And I also think she's gonna have Josh coming after her. So if the numbers aren't looking too hot, she might have Spencer and Billy on her side, but I do think people are starting to realize that Muna is the person to get rid of. Natalie. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know who to put down, to be honest. It's a hard down week for me. I already have Natalie so down. I'm sure we'll get to that. I could see why you put Muna down. I might have to agree with that, I guess. I only don't want to, only because she still has her LOS, so she can be protected this round, no matter what, if she chooses to be.
That's true. We'll have to get back to that LOS as we talk more about this episode.
And I kind of want to put Josh down, only because he voted for Jacob, only to get cussed out by Marcelo. But also, Josh is in a kind of spot where he could be in the middle, so I don't know. I can't put Josh on either, so I guess I'll just agree with Muna, even though I don't really agree at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, somebody has to go down other than Natalie, right? So I guess Muna's the next best option, only because Jacob's coming back. If Marcelo were coming back, I'd feel a little bit different, but I do think Jacob is going to continue to realize that that's his threat, and he's right. So.
Well, we might as well start with Billy and her shirt. Used to be a people person, then people ruined it. She was trying to psych people out at the beginning of this episode. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Is that what her shirt said?
Yes.
Oh, no, I didn't see that. I noticed that she had the glasses on, and I noticed that she had the mask on, which is funny because they haven't worn masks the entire season. And it gave me very much Patty. She was giving me Patty with the glasses and the hoodie over his head, poker face, hiding her emotions, just wanting to come off as a competitor. So I'm not mad at it.
The shirt was an actual touch, though.
Yeah, we stand Billy.
So then there was Jacob and Muna. They had their first confrontation when Muna came back, and there was like, I mean, Jacob tried to say that Muna betrayed him too, but like, let's be honest, in this games, voting for somebody is the much bigger betrayal.
Yeah, I agree. I think that their first spat was more just like, well, don't throw me in, throw him in, versus voting for someone is definitely a much bigger assault. But I was not a fan of the way that Jacob played that. For me, it's just like stand in your shit, own it. You tried to pull a fast one on Muna. It blew up in your face, and these are the repercussions of your actions. I feel like if Jacob would have just come in and been like and said nothing, I would have had more respect for his game. But like blowing it up and saying I have no choice, stop. You try to pull a move, stand in your shit. It's the same thing with Muna a couple of episodes ago when she did that shit with Spencer, and I got really annoyed. Just own your game. Like and sell it to a jury. Like you made a willful, intentional choice, and I think that that's you deserve credit for that. So just own it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really know why he did it that way because he seems like someone who would own it. So I don't really understand why he did it.
That's interesting. Mate, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like it's a half. It was a half-assed own.
It was an unfounded own. Like it was like he just hadn't he was lying. He was lying. That's what it was. He was just lying, and it just didn't make sense. So I wasn't a fan of that. Standing your shit. And Marcelo, I don't know why the fuck this guy talks half the time. Like Muna comes in and gives it. I mean, her speech was high, especially for her being a poet and like a lyricist or whatever. I was a little underwhelmed with what she had to say when she came back. But Marcelo just randomly inserting himself, it's like we don't need it. We don't need this. You could have kept that in your fucking brain. We don't need that. So
He does like to spew things out when he really just shouldn't.
and it's so inappropriate. It's like random outbursts, and it's like we don't. I'm uncomfortable. Can you stop? This is weird, Marcelo. Stop. Yeah.
So the twist this round is they had to pitch to the jury. I guess we just might as well go over a little bit of everybody's pitch. Marcelo tried to pitch his game before just randomly pitching Josh and Jacob. Any thoughts on that? Did not work out. But
Marcelo couldn't even convince himself of his fucking lies. Are you kidding me? He was like fucking trembling while he said he's led moves. I was like, Marcelo, shut the fuck
yeah,
up. Goodbye.
yeah, his pitch was definitely one of the more underwhelming pitches.
Cringe, super cringe. I could feel the jury's like uncomfortableness as he's giving the speech. Oh,
Even with their masks.
100%.
Thoughts on Muna's pitch? You said something that I didn't agree with, but what were your thoughts?
I mean, I was like kind of underwhelmed with Muna's speeches. She's a poet, so I'm really expecting her to like move me. But I mean, I thought her speech was I actually, never mind. I was gonna bring up the fact that she brought up her LOS, but it worked to her advantage, so never mind. But yeah, it was It worked, right?
I mean, it didn't get her the win, and like it did Billy. But the thing I disagreed with was her whole shark analogy. That saying Jacob and Marcelo aren't like they're not playing this game. Jacob is the biggest shark in this game. Period. So that just did not work for me. Like Marcelo, yeah, obviously, but not Jacob.
Yeah.
Because he has been the most aggressive player in the game.
Yeah, I think maybe she meant fighter in terms of she's trying to resonate with the jury, right? So like fighter in the sense of who's been in a battle match, but you are right. Jacob is playing the game. Yeah.
And this was kind of a theme of this episode that was annoying me, that Jacob's game was kind of getting disrespected. Like I understand he made a mistake, but still he's played the most aggressive game.
I think Jacob has played such a kind of like Jacob is a mastermind, right? So he's just managed to always keep his hands clean. So I think that's why his game is
Maybe.
downplayed, is because we haven't seen him. I mean, he's gone into a battle match once, so the fact that he's kind of gone through the game more or less unscathed, I think makes people think that maybe he's not playing his
I don't know. Maybe. I don't see it that way, or how they can see it that way.
I don't disagree with you. I totally see what you're saying, though. I agree.
Thoughts on Natalie's speech? I mean, it was a mistake to try and get Muna nominated, first of all, but any other thoughts?
Try and get Muna nominated, and then to try and take credit for Muna getting nominated.
Well, it worked on Brent, apparently.
I was so disappointed when Brent said that. I was like, really? Of all the speeches you heard, Natalie? I wrote that down. I said, Brent, come on now. You think Natalie really led the initiative on that? Come on now. Natalie was a vote and nothing more.
Yeah, that narrative is getting old already. I'm like, it's like what do they call it when everybody gets a trophy these days? Participation trophy. Like we're just giving her credit just for trying, and I'm already sick of it.
I literally wrote in my notes, I said, girl, fuck you. You had nothing to do with Brendan. She said that she also had to do with Brendan sitting there. Remember when she said that? I don't know if you peeped that. She was like, I knew instantly that Brendan was the move. Bitch, you voted for Muna, so you weren't even a part of Brendan.
Well, I think she was trying to say that when she first won the her challenge against Katie, when she came back into the game, she was after Brendan.
Natalie, no one cares.
Brent does.
Anyways.
Thoughts on Billy's speech as she continues to just knock it out of the park?
I'll let you go first.
She's just very good at playing. I don't even know if it's playing. I think she genuinely believes the stuff she says, so that's why it comes across as authentic.
Billy is a master manipulator. I adore her. She's not loyal. I will never give her that. But I love the fact that she has really managed to spin this narrative that she is. Like, Billy is good. She's a master of perception, and she's really good at controlling what people see of her.
Yes.
And she's so good in this game because she can control her image.
Exactly, which is a huge quality in this game when you could at least show what the people that vote in the end need to see.
Billy, if you're not in PR, that's your calling, sis. Because fuck, can you spin a narrative? So good. Not loyal.
She's the most well-rounded player by far.
I stand Billy. If she does not win, she's been cheated.
Yeah, especially if she makes the end. I mean, I can't see her losing to anybody, honestly. But if she makes the end, then yeah, she should win.
And you know what? Billy also gave, I mean, it was a little too emotional for me, but Billy also gave like one of the best speeches. So.
Yeah, I agree. It did get a little bit much at one point, but yeah.
A little cheesy when she tried to squeeze out that little fake tear.
Yeah.
Like, not much, but you know, I appreciate it.
Thoughts on Josh, who pitched Muna and Billy? I was a bit confused by Josh.
Really? Why were you confused?
But what were your thoughts on his pitch?
To me, if Billy is, you know, the prototype, Josh is a close second. Okay, he's the first imitation. Like, he is a runner-up in terms of, like, you know, really just working his social game. He's really, and he's got a lot of strategy behind him. I loved his idea of putting Muna and Billy up. At first, I was kind of like, what the fuck? But then I thought about it, and it actually, I don't know if he realized it, but it would have kept both of them safe. So.
Yeah, I got that part. I was confused because, like, he begins his speech talking about who he was loyal to. But then he picks Billy.
Well, I think his reason.
And I don't know. I just feel like, why are you telling this to the jury?
Well, I took it more as him showing his moves that he's done in the game. Because other than that, like first, battle match against Katie, he really doesn't have much to show for. And unlike, at least he's not as bold as fucking Natalie to try and take credit for an initiative. But he does have to show what he has done, and he did build those relationships. So
No, I got that part. Like I wrote down loved his speech, but then I had to cross it out when he chose Moon and Billy because it just didn't mesh together to me.
to me, that was the best move to keep them safe. But he didn't know. See, I'm thinking about it though because I know that there's an LOS in play, so maybe that's why that made sense to me. But he did say that he's prepared to turn on someone close. And see, he's truly loyal to Billy at the end of the day, which is going to be his undoing. And so he's trying to go after Muna.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad idea, which is also why I have Muna down.
Yeah, Josh is the swing vote in the next episode, kind of. Possibly. That's on Spencer's speech.
I love when he started off like, oh, I've missed your faces. I was like, boy, if you don't shut the fuck up, these people they don't want to see you. They probably rolled their fucking eyes under their masks when they saw you. Like he eliminated half of them. So yeah, but it was an eye speech. He did I.
I mean, I feel like it was perfect for him because he could get so melodramatic sometimes with his monologues that it just really worked. He needs to audition for a soap opera. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah, over dramatic. I agree.
Thoughts on Jacob?
I think with Jacob, I have concluded that A, he has no soul. I've said that for a couple of episodes now. And B, and this is no shade.
I want to say I disagree with that, but go on.
I'm not buying any of the shit that he put on today, but we'll get into that. But B, Jacob to me is not likable. And I keep going back to Alex, where, he and Alex are kind of one and the same, where they pulled some fuck shit, they lied, they backstabbed, they scheme, they steal, whatever. But at the end of the day, Alex had one factor, and it was that he was genuinely likable. And it kind of hurt you a little more when he did backstab you because he is so likable. But like Jacob will fuck you and doesn't even buy you dinner because he's just not likable. There's nothing.
Is that just your perspective? Because I feel like Patty felt a different way when Alex voted him out.
What do you mean?
Like I felt like Patty took it too personally, so.
Oh, 100%. But like still, right. And like Alex kind of gently fucks you, right? Like, he's screwing you over, but like he did it gently and he kind of finessed you and he made you feel special. And so you left and like you're confused because you're like, I thought we had something, but Jacob is just so ruthless. And I still don't understand why half of these people are in their feelings when he backstabs them because he's not a likable player. Like when he's just so arrogant and like again this is him as a player, he's just so arrogant and so cold and so like cut off that I don't understand how like there's any appeal to him. He's so unlikable to me, even more so than Spencer.
I mean, I can see why. It's because he is a savage player.
He's savage and like, what's his redeeming quality? Name one redeeming quality about Jacob.
That is his redeeming quality to some. Some people like savage players.
I like savage, but you still have to have loyalty and trust and like a genuine bond with at least one person in these games. At least one person.
Well, speaking of that, what were your thoughts on Marsala? Well, in the end, Billy won that. She was safe for this round. But what were your thoughts on Marcelo throwing Jacob under the bus? Or just telling the truth, but I mean, I guess he kind of, graduated from rubber snake to almost real snake, finally.
I mean, I don't feel bad for I don't judge them when they do desperate things when they're in desperate situations. Like
Makes sense.
with Spencer, he would do some fuck shit, and I would kind of be
Hmm.
no, I would be understanding because I know what it's like. You've gotta do whatever you can do to stay in the game. So I think that was fair.
Well,
All's
the
fair.
problem was with Spencer is that he was doing dumb shit. But go on.
No, Spencer does do dumb shit sometimes. I agree, but sometimes like when he makes these like empty threats, it's like, oh, I don't want to talk about Spencer. But the point is, going back to Marcelo, I don't think he was wrong for what he did because all's fair. It's fair. He's trying to save himself, and the fact of the matter is that Jacob, not Natalie, Jacob
Correct.
fucking charge on Muna, and I think that he was kind of forced to do it, was he not? I mean, he was forced on the basis of his alliance with Jacob. So, I mean, he was, yeah, he had to do that. And I don't think it's wrong to make that clear when you're in the bottom and you're going to go home. You don't agree?
No, I agree. He also threw Natalie under the bus. Thoughts on that?
I loved it. I loved it because I love that Billy now does not trust Natalie. And I can't wait to see that play out.
Yeah, I wonder if that how much that is going to hurt her in the game because like she shouldn't be a target because she's the GOAT, especially now with Marcelo out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Billy's not going to let her get to the final two, final three. Easy. No. As a goat, she will be sacrificed, and it won't be in the final two.
Do you have any thoughts on the budding Spencer and Billy alliance?
Well, according to Billy, she and Spencer have always been close. Billy's always been loyal to Spencer. What are you talking about?
Of course she has,
So,
and she probably believes that too.
oh, 100%. Of course. All she's ever done was try to protect Spencer. Every time she voted for Spencer, she was really trying to protect him. Yeah.
I did find it amusing that what was really happening is Spencer was just excited to finally be playing the game.
Spencer was just excited to have friends and to like. Spencer is truly Mike, but like with that,
Mike's smarter, much smarter player.
yeah, I won't disservice Mike by saying that, but he's Mike in the sense that like I'm just happy to be here. Like I'm just happy to be in the mix. Like you guys are just in the loop. Like he's lapping this shit up. Okay, so props to him for being a cool kid. Finally, I hope he enjoys it. And if he just shuts the fuck up, you know, he might make it pretty far.
So in the end, Jacob was the one voted in. Were you surprised, or
Nope, I knew it was gonna be Jacob or Marcella, right?
well, yeah,
It
it
was
had to be one of them.
yeah, I mean, it was played beautifully by the jury on how they even decided to how they like were going for maximum entertainment and pettiness, and like the fact that they chose to keep Billy safe and to nominate Jacob and Marcelo, I thought was just so good.
Are you surprised that Jacob still hasn't told anyone about Mona's LOS? Because I am.
Let's talk about that. What do you think about it?
I don't know why he's not telling people.
You think he forgot?
I doubt it. That's not something you forget.
I mean, like, it seems like he and Muna in their 3 minutes, it seems like Muna just went to him and was word vomiting because she was just so happy to fucking see his face and be back in the game. I mean, he either forgot or
Or he's hanging on to it to like play a card at some point.
that, right? I was thinking about that too, where he's trying to save that information for like, hey, when I get back in, I might need to know that. Or he's just genuinely trying to salvage their friendship so that like when they finish the game, he could be like, look, I like knew you had an LOS and I never exposed it. Because when he was picking people to go into the battle match, I would have been like, well, I'm not going to pick Muna because she has an LOS and I'm not going to waste that. Or I would have picked her because she had an LOS. But the point being, that was the optimal time to expose her LOS and he didn't do it. So,
Yeah. It was interesting. I don't know why he's not, but he still has time to do so because he is still in the game. He beat Marcelo in what was finally the a real physical challenge.
I love that. I love that they've been anticipating these fucking, you know, marathon challenges. It was like Olympiad challenges and shit, only for those two to be in the most competitive athletic challenge of the season. I loved it.
Well,
Marcelo,
Jacob did pretty good.
yeah, they did all right. Marcelo was panting though. Okay, his ass, no shade. Marcelo, he can go ahead and hit the gym because the weight up and heaving and shit. The blocks that him worn out. Okay.
I do find it kind of funny how Marcelo was, trying to avoid getting put in all this time only to get put in during the most physical competition.
And against his best friend.
Yeah. Yikes. And my last note is that I just feel like Billy's on such another level compared to everybody else in this game. Like Jacob's an almost close second, but he's a distant second because he made a mistake. So we seem to disagree.
If anyone's a close second to Billy, it's Josh.
I disagree.
Jacob would be second to Billy if he shut up a little more, if he didn't pick as many fights as he did, and if he would have just stood in his truth, which, Billy doesn't stand in her truth. Well, what she believes to be her truth, I guess. But, like when Jacob does the most and he puts on about, I had no choice, and he's throwing his arms around and doing the most, that to me diminishes your game.
I guess, but I don't know. I feel like there's two types of players in these games. There's the players that can play these savage games or get played savagely and respect it, or there's players that take it emotionally and become bitter. Jacob is in the first category. A lot of these players in most games fall into the second category.
I don't know that I fully agree with that though, because if you're a savage player, you said what the fuck you said. So make your move and stand by it. There should be no dramatics and no hoopla when Muna comes back. I wouldn't even look at Muna. Shit.
But I don't know. I kind of disagree because you have to play every aspect. You can still try and salvage that.
No.
You can try, is the point.
No.
Not that you might necessarily will. Just because you wouldn't doesn't mean other people wouldn't.
I don't have respect for that. Don't backtrack and pussy pop with me. I don't like that. You did what the fuck you did. Now stand in it. You did it. Own up to it. I mean, he clearly felt strong enough about the move to make it. So stand in it.
But like I said, I felt like he eventually half-assed did. It was just half-assed.
And even like him, getting all in Marcelo's face, and which I felt was incredibly. I don't think that came from a place of like feeling betrayed. I felt like that came from a place of like manipulation and wanting to try and control. Jacob's very controlling. He wanted to control Marcelo. And so I felt like he did all of that and tried to guilt trip him that he could try and get Marcelo not go around and campaign the fact that Jacob was really the one behind the move.
Yeah, I know. But I still feel like Jacob falls into the first category because I don't think he would actually be hurt. I think he respects savage moves. I feel like he has to because he is the same way.
You feel like he just goes and gives these dramatic performances about he did what he had to do just for what?
I don't know. I feel like he thinks that's a good plan because that's what was his plan last week. That it was either me or Muna. It's just not a good plan.
Okay, so I guess that's what. So then maybe he's not as strategic and as savage as we thought because that's just not a good plan.
I know. I've said he's made mistakes, but he's still playing a good strategic game. I mean, he's still there.
And put him at number 2 below Billy.
I'm not saying what you're saying with Josh.
You're going to say that Jacob is number 2 to Billy when Billy is the emotional, manipulative queen, and Jacob is second after that, after what he pulled today in these challenges?
No, Jacob is a very lucky player, I feel like. He's gotten lucky in this game, late in the game. He makes mistakes, but they don't blow up in his face. Like, he voted for Jacob but Marcelo was mad at him. So if Marcelo comes back, Jacob's in a bad spot. He just got lucky.
Jacob's not number 2 to Billy.
I will stand by it that he is. Was there anything I missed in this episode?
Something that I wanted to talk about was Natalie. So, she tried to take credit for moves that she had no business taking credit for, which I thought was some bullshit. But one thing I will give her is that at least she recognizes that on paper, Spencer might be the best person to take. Of course, given Spencer's new attitude, he will annihilate her in the end. But
will he? I'm not convinced of it anymore. If people like Brent are starting to actually believe that Natalie is playing hard and playing well, does he?
Sweet, frail, blonde, white woman demeanor will, pull her some pity votes.
I'm
Especially
honestly a little worried about her edit. I don't know if she's getting the under the radar edit where she's going to win in the end, or if they're just trying to give her some sort of perspective in the game that she did something more than trying.
I think she's just getting the pathetic goat edit, and she's going to be gone by fucking final 5.
I hope that.
I'm sorry, but like if she makes it to the final 2 and win, it's a disgrace. This show's a disgrace.
It would be. I would agree.
But at least I will give her some props. I will give credit where credit is due. I'm glad that she's starting to think about who would be best for her game. And on paper, I feel like Spencer does appear to be the best person. I can't really think of. She could potentially beat Marcelo, but then she voted him in. And that actually ties into something else that I want to talk about, which is Natalie's hesitancy to vote Jacob in. I don't understand it. She's like constantly talking. Sorry, I was just going to say she's constantly talking about how she wants to make the best moves for her game, and that's why she's going after Muna, but she doesn't apply that same argument to Jacob.
Well, because I really feel like she genuinely has an alliance with Jacob, because Jacob's been working that. Jacob's been working that for a few episodes now, and it clearly is working.
But Jacob has like no actual loyalty to her. He's just using her.
Well, she clearly doesn't see that. She thinks that they're like on the same level and that she's like his little Bonnie and Clyde.
How is this man? I want to meet Jacob in person. He must have some type of charm, some swag, some finesse that just does not translate on camera.
He must.
I don't get it. I don't get like how she betrayed Muna and Billy over this man, and he doesn't give a fuck about her. I don't understand it.
Well, I mean, Natalie's been wanting Billy out for a while now.
I thought Natalie was loyal to Billy.
Well, they both said they were going to be loyal to each other until the final 6, which is where we're heading.
Well, it'll be Natalie gone before Billy. I just talked about the fact that Spencer has become redeemable, which we talked about.
Yes, I will agree. This time I said last week I'll give him another episode to see if he's redeeming himself. And he is.
Billy's a motherfucking icon. Said I was cackling at the fact that Marcelo threw Jacob under the bus. That shit was funny as hell. It was like, Jacob and Marcelo will be voted in. Jacob was the one that led the vote on Muna.
It was that quick.
It's like, damn, can they start the fucking clock? That shit was funny as hell. Do you see how quick their friendship and alliance unraveled?
That was Marcelo's best moment of the season.
So good. Let's see. Oh, I just said, holy shit, Billy found out about Natalie. Because I know. Oh. There are 2 names that you don't want to say. You don't want to say Muna's name, okay, because you better look left and right before you say it. I'm starting to think you don't want to say one of Billy's allies' names either, because I don't think Billy's gonna let that shit slide. There will be hell to pay for that betrayal. Which is
I think Natalie could be a target this. Well, maybe not with Jacob still in the game.
I still stand by the fact that somehow Natalie will end up being collateral damage because of Jacob.
I mean, it could be that way since she's kind of like his pawn.
She is his pawn. She's not his friend. She's not his ally. She's his pawn. And that's like what's so hilarious about her trying to take credit for anything. Like all you're doing is what you're told to do. So, oh, another thing that had me cracking up was when Spencer goes, Marcelo just needs to go. He needs to go. I just felt that on every level. And it was also just rich
Yeah,
coming from Spencer.
true.
Like, sir, we've been saying that about you for 6 episodes now, 7 episodes. I just said Natalie did not lead the charge. Stop. Jacob literally has no soul. How has no one realized that they need to target Billy?
I have no idea. I mean, I feel like it has to come now, or if not this, on the next round, because yeah, like she hasn't been in. She's the only person left now that hasn't been in a battle match, which I think could bite her in the ass.
Oh, in terms of like vouching.
Well, no, I just mean like making her a target.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, nah, there's no way you get to a jury and that's a fucking
No,
con.
I feel like that has to be a pro.
And the fact that like no one even thinks about it. Like when Josh asked Jacob his targets, he was like, why would I know? No one's thinking about Billy. And
Well, I
it's like,
think the most telling was Katie wanted Marcelo in the battle, well, be a nominee because he hasn't been in one, but then she voted Billy to say.
yep. Like no one's and it's so funny because it's right in front of all of their faces. Like she literally her pitch to the jury is I throw my votes because all of you are my friends. Like, how can someone that has loyalty to effectively no one be in the game and make the argument of being loyal and honest? And like, I just,
That's why I say that she's just on another level than everybody else in this game so far. But I
I
do think that could make her target soon, that she hasn't been in one.
you think Josh will be the one to finally
Maybe.
realize that she needs to go?
It's possible.
You hate to see it. I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them unravel like that.
I do think Josh knows that he can't take her to the end. I think he knows that.
I think that she was talking about a final four where she takes Spencer and Josh. So
And I think she would.
yeah, but I think she already has her final two within that, and we just haven't got it in a confessional yet. So
Yes, and it's Spencer.
oh shit! That Billy is G enough to take Spencer.
I think she is.
Oh my god, I love this woman. I didn't even think about. Oh my god, Billy's finessing fucking Muna and Josh. What a queen! Wow. Stan. I did say that I adore Josh. I think he's working all of his angles. I think Josh is one of the best players, and Billy as well, of just really thinking about every angle. He thinks about every possible position that he can play. He was thinking about, oh well, if I get rid of Jacob, that pulls me closer to Natalie. He really just thinks through his options, and I like that for him. So
I say I agree with you on that. I think Josh is one of the players that, kind of sees the chessboard, as a fan guy would say. A fan guy was here. But also, I just think his downside is that he doesn't always make the right move for him. Like, I don't think voting for Jacob was actually the right move for him after their conversation.
because you think Muna is one of his bigger threats.
I mean that, but also he did Marcelo's work without talking to Marcelo, and then Marcelo was mad at him in the end. So I don't know. That just made me feel like Josh kind of fucked up in that decision.
Yeah, I said I feel bad that Spencer thinks he and Jacob are actually close Come on, no one's actually close to Jacob. That man has no soul. Uh, I did say I might have to eat my words about, Muna's whole. If you say Muna, you better look left and right. You better. What did she say? You better hit when you say my name or some shit like that. And you know what? I might have to backtrack and pussy pop a little bit because you know what? Might be true. Because I'll be damned. Jacob sure did throw Muna's name out, and he sure did have to go fight to stay in the next episode. So
True.
I don't know. Marcelo's speech at the end.
And what about it? It
Yeah,
was over the top and not really working.
I loved it. The only person that gave a fuck about that speech was Natalie. Natalie was literally like,
But it's partly what makes me think that Natalie is a goat that could win.
because she's gonna have Marcelo on the jury.
Because there might be bitter jury members and just members that fall for her little participation trophy.
Against who?
Jacob.
Okay, so we put Jacob and Natalie up. He has a thing with Natalie because Natalie beat her.
Your sound just really got bad.
Is it better?
Yeah.
So we put Natalie and Jacob up at the end, right? Let's go over who would vote for her. So I think Katie could potentially vote for Natalie because Natalie beat her in a battle back and they kind of had that whole moment about it. That may be one vote.
Rachel, Brent.
You think Rachel? Oh, I guess Rachel doesn't really fuck with.
Like, I feel like she has 4 votes possible. I don't know if Marcella would actually vote for her over Jacob, but I feel like it's a possibility.
You think she would get Brent's vote over Jacob? Okay. Shireen.
Maybe.
She wins. I'm never watching another fucking.
I don't think I would either, to be honest.
If she wins this podcast. Wow, you might be right. All this time we're sitting here like, fuck her. Why would she take Jacob? But that actually might be her best move.
I don't know if she realizes that either, but I do think it's a possibility because I know how bitter juries can be.
Yeah. Wow. And then the thing is none of them, unless the jury gets to all talk, none of them will have insight into how she tried to fuck, how she let. Well, no, they do know she tried to fuck over Muna. So I don't think Rachel's gonna be down with that.
I still don't know if I see Rachel voting for Jacob over Natalie.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't really want to think about that possibility. I mean, no shade, but it's kind of like when everyone was thinking, who was it, of Hassan winning? Everyone was like, if Hassan wins, I'm done with this fucking show. I'm done with this series.
Yeah. It would also kind of be a bad look, but we'll get to that if it actually happens.
I hope it doesn't. I don't want to get to that. Oh my God. Also, I just want to talk about Marcelo randomly calling Josh a pussy.
No, I edited out calling him a pussy last week.
Left that shit in. It would have been perfect foreshadowing.
It would have been.
But like, it was hilarious to me because he's giving this speech. He's like, Natalie, no one believed in you, and Josh, you're a pussy, and you're like, it's a record scratch. What?
It was definitely off the wall and just weirdly aggressive. That wasn't aggressive, but was aggressive.
Marcelo just has these weird fucking outbursts, and you're like, we didn't, like, he says shit, and you're like, okay, like, we didn't really need that, but okay. But then Josh was like, honestly, fuck you, and that's why you're in the bottom, and I'll be happy to not see you come back. And it was just like, okay, he's actually right. So, yeah. And then I just had Marcelo breathing hard as fuck during the challenge. And then also the fact that when he lost, he like, laid back in the grass and he said, "Oh, I'm not good at the physical part of the game. The social part I'm good at, but the physical part," that just made me laugh because probably the second most hated after.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. I guess his jumping jacks didn't really help out. If he had a collapse like Naomi Osaka after winning a fucking major tennis tournament, but what are you gonna do?
I think that Marcelo's just so out of touch with where he stands in the game, and that's what's so funny and honestly kind of endearing about him. It's because you're like, "Oh, good for you, baby."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any predictions?
Man, I don't even know where the series goes. I mean, some of these players be coming back like fucking herpes. We can't get rid of Jacob. We can't get rid of Spencer. I don't even know. We can't get rid of Muna. I have no idea.
Is it still Muna, Jacob our targets, or were they going to realize the same thing that Muna and Spencer realized?
I think somebody's gonna wake up. Dare I say it? Dare I say it? Someone's gonna wake up and maybe realize Billy.
I mean, I think they need to as much as I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see it either. But I mean, like you said, she's the only player that hasn't gone into a battle match. So.
But do they actually have the numbers to do Billy? I feel like they would have the numbers to do Muna or to do Jacob, but I think it would be a tie if they did Billy.
Yeah, I mean, Billy controls the numbers. Billy is the numbers. So yeah, you're right.
Spencer's not going to go over Billy. I don't think so. I would be surprised.
You fucked my whole world up when you said that Billy and a plot twist. If Billy takes Spencer, if Billy turns on Josh and Muna, wow.
That's some boss shit right there if she did that.
That is the level of more savage than anything Jacob has ever done. Ever. Oh, I hope she does that.
Wow. I think she would have to win the last challenge to do that, but it would be epic.
Well, I mean, she jumps rope. We don't know what Billy's capable of.
Probably better than Marcelo. She was doing it pretty well.
She says she's in the best shape of her life. I'm ready to see what Billy has to offer. We're rooting for you, sis. Team Billy over here, okay? # Team Billy. 100%.
She's definitely the best player I've seen on Sequesters thus far in 4 seasons.
Billy is up there with one of the best players I've seen, I think, in any of these fucking competition games. I would love to. I
agree.
On like Big Brother, oh. I don't know how she would do on Survivor, but I want to see her in some more games because she's just an icon. Wow.
Well, any final thoughts?
Nope. Any final thoughts for you?
No, I said everything I wanted to say. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us. I will see you all next week.
Well then.